For a small town, this dance was impressive. She wandered along the edges of the dance floor until she ran into the refreshment table. "Love your skirt," a girl said, a genuine smile on her face. "Thanks," Heidi said as she plucked a cup of red punch off the table. "Where'd you get it?" "San Francisco." Heidi took a sip of punch, wishing her voice didn't carry a note of pride. She wasn't better than this girl, despite her fashionable miniskirt and oversized top with a teal stripe along the neckline. "Do you live there?" the girl asked. "Oh, I'm Farah." "Nice to meet you." Heidi smiled at her. "No, I don't live there. I'm going to school there." Farah got a faraway look on her face. "I wish I could go to school." A pang of sadness hit Heidi, along with a wave of gratitude and the memories of her own longing to attend school. She had worked for her father for 4 long years, living at home and spending nothing, until she could pay for the first year of culinary school. "I'm sorry," she murmured, wanting to escape from this conversation. Though the sun had started to set, it suddenly felt too hot to Heidi. "Excuse me." She turned, and everything seemed to happen in slow motion. Someone bumped her elbow, or maybe she bumped them. No matter what, her punch went flying, the red liquid practically leaping from the cup and flying through the air. It hit the man who had just stepped out of the crowd, and time rushed forward again. Heidi gasped at the same time the punch touched the man. He flinched like she'd physically touched him and glanced down at his now stained shirt. His now stained white shirt. Heidi brought both hands to cover her mouth, absolutely horrified. "I'm so sorry," she said through her fingers. "I got hit and—" "It's okay," he said, his voice low and deep and wonderful and flowing like honey over Heidi's frayed nerves. The music faded into silence. The world narrowed to just the two of them. She slid her eyes from his shirt and up his thick chest, taking in muscular arms under his short sleeves, and over the most handsome face she'd ever seen. He had a shock of dark hair poking out from beneath a black cowboy hat, and bright electric blue eyes that drew her in like a magnet. He looked like he hadn't shaved in a couple of days, and the facial hair added to his allure. His belt buckle could have served as a dinner plate, and at the bottom of his long, jean-clad legs, he wore a weathered pair of cowboy boots. Heidi forgot her own name. She swallowed and dropped her hands back to her sides. All her mind could conjure was, maybe cowboys aren't so bad. "I don't think we've met." The man moved forward a step and reached for her. No, past her, to the refreshment table where he collected a napkin and started dabbing at his ruined shirt. "I'm Frank Ackerman." Heidi startled and cleared her throat. "Heidi Duffin." "You new in town, Heidi?" He settled his weight away from her, but his near proximity rendered her weak. He smelled like leather and pine and wood and everything manly and nice. She took a deep breath of him, wanting to bake him into a pie so that aroma would infect the air for a long time. No. She took a step back to give herself some air. "No, I don't live here. I'm just here with my sister." She scanned the crowd, half hoping Maggie would appear to corroborate her story. "I guess she's dating some guy from some ranch." "Three Rivers Ranch?" "Yeah, that's it." Heidi found his face again and smiled at him. When he returned the gesture, she thought sure she'd faint. She wondered if he knew how handsome he was, how fast her heart was racing, how he affected girls. "Anyway, I'm from Amarillo," she finished. "You want to dance?" He nodded his hat toward the dance floor. Heidi hadn't intended to dance with anyone. Her brain screamed at her to say no. Her heart reminded her how she felt about cowboys, about living so far from civilization, about belt buckles the size of hubcaps. But her voice said, "Sure," and a thrill of excitement tripped down her spine when Frank put his warm hand on the small of her back and guided her through the crowd.